Hey everybody, Michael Matt from the Catholic Identity Conference. We still actually haven't left Pennsylvania, the conference having just come to an end last night. Something unfortunate's come up, but before I even get to that, I want to say what a huge, huge success, grace-filled success this conference was. Just really good things happened. We had over 700 people in the room. We had Gerhard Cardinal Muller interview. We interviewed Bishop Schneider. We had a magnificent, magnificent evening Saturday night when Bishop Strickland joined us. He was Bishop X. He also said the traditional Latin Mass for our conference. I can't overstate how successful it was, how many people were convinced they had been touched by grace during the course of the weekend, how unified it was, and really a beautiful thing. And I should have anticipated, I think, that when you have something that positive and that good and that grace-filled, the devil was going to find a way to get into it. And he has. He's found a way. I think there are some people who really resented the success of this conference, and they seem to be really enjoying a piece of division that has set in that's most unfortunate and absolutely not true. Okay. Here's what happened. Someone from Team Viganò, and as you all know, no one has been more supportive of Archbishop Viganò over the years than I have. I have been. I consider him a dear friend. I consider him a champion, a defender of the faith, and I've always stood with Archbishop Viganò. I don't know if I'm dealing with Archbishop Viganò at the moment or I'm dealing with his team. I'm not sure. But just several days, now remember, we had 17 speakers. Many of these speakers are putting their reputations, even their livelihoods, on the line. We had people, Vatican journalists, we had bishops, we had priests, diocesan priests, putting their reputations on the line by being with us and agreeing to a theme of unity, one about martyrdom, but also about unity that the Catholic identity. Because when you invite people to come to a conference like this, they say, what's it about? And what I told them again and again, when I promised them that what it is, it's about unifying as many Catholics as we possibly could here on the eve of the Synod. Okay? I have to set it context with that. Just a couple of days before the conference began, remember we had been advertising Archbishop Viganò's presence for months on this conference. He was to be with us live. He was to close out our conference. I was to interview him via Zoom live. Okay? And a very important part of our conference. A couple days before, Archbishop Viganò contacted me and said he did not want to do the interview. We weren't going to do an interview, he said. He said he wanted to do an intervention. And I said, well, I have to know what it is because, again, we have a theme. We have commitments to all the other speakers. And he said he was going to Zoom in an intervention. I said, we can't do that, but you can send us a video. And I'd be happy to take a look at it. And I hopefully we can close out our conference with that. It didn't come until the first day of the conference. A video came. I'm being accused, incredibly, of censoring Archbishop Viganò. The reality is I have not even watched the video. The reality is I have not even read the entire transcript of the video. I took a look at it. I was emceeing the event. We had 17 speakers, right? It's a chaotic, difficult, challenging thing. Spot read the text, and I saw that it was getting into the question of sedevacantism. As you know, we have discussed sedevacantism many times. I have many good friends who are sedevacantists, so I didn't have a problem with the content. In fact, the content is extremely interesting part of this debate. But when I read and I realized that it was going into that controversy, and Archbishop Viganò at the beginning of his video even says that this is an opportunity to debate difficult issues that people disagree over which people disagree. Good people disagree, but I agree. The problem was that's not what this conference was about. So I didn't read it. I spot checked it. Didn't watch the video at all. And I said, well, I can't use this to close out my video, my conference, because for one thing, it's a video. It has to be worked. We didn't have time to work the video. Set it up with lower third and so forth for the CIC. And for the other thing, it's kind of an anticlimactic way to end a conference with a static video, right? And thirdly, it was because the content I could see even from spot checking was all about a very controversial issue. And the whole point and purpose of this particular conference was to unify Catholics in preparation for this synod that's coming up, to stand with the Stricklands and the Schneiders and the Cardinal Burkes now with the new statement on the dubia, Cardinal Muller, to do everything we can to support them. Now, please understand, anybody could understand what would happen if you bring in a Bishop Strickland in the middle of this controversy that he's involved with. And the takeaway story is that Bishop Strickland now is giving a talk at a conference in which a high-profile archbishop is now basically declaring sedevacantism as his position. You see what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with my opinion of Viganò. I love Archbishop Viganò. It has nothing to do with my opinion of sedevacantism. I did not have the right, our team at the Catholic Identity Conference did not have the right to suddenly bait and switch everyone and make this unifying conference, this conference that was all about unity, to be all about a debate, a polemic, a controversial topic. Nobody signed on to that. So that's why it didn't take me more than a couple spot checks to say I can't use this video. So I never agreed to put the video in the first place. I never confirmed with Archbishop Viganò that I had even seen it. And now I don't know how this is happening, but someone from Team Viganò is claiming that we're censoring him, that we agreed to all this, and then we pulled it. Why would we do this? What sense would there be to this? I'm sorry, but Archbishop Viganò is the one who changed the plan, said he did not want to do what we had advertised, which was to sit for an interview about important and unifying questions that the people are dealing with right now. I don't know what's happening, friends, but I'm telling you, I feel and I sense the devil is involved in this somehow, to see this beautiful unifying thing happen, and all of a sudden the next morning, this is literally the next morning that I'm talking to you right now, the next morning, boom, it's blowing up. And now we're censoring Viganò. We're refusing to do the truth. We're cowards and all of this stuff. It's unbelievable. It's like the satanic element here is palpable. So I'm not going to give up on this. As I say, Archbishop Viganò is an old and dear friend. I'm going to sit down and carefully read his case, which I did not have the opportunity to do over the weekend with 17 speakers. I'm going to read the case. I'm going to watch the video. And I promise you, I'm going to reach out to His Excellency. I'm going to say, let's see if there's a way we can discuss this in the Remnant newspaper, at Remnant TV, which is what those forums are for. The Catholic Identity Conference was not for that. There was no way that I could suddenly just throw that bomb at all my speakers at the end of the conference. Guess what? We're going to go into sedevacantism really heavy now. You see? I understand, friends. I understand. Pope Francis is the problem. I do not blame the sedevacantists, those who are coming to the tragic conclusion that he's not the Pope. I blame that on Francis, not my friends. I have friends who are sedevacantists. I understand the temptation or the tragic conclusion. Man, is this guy even the Pope? I completely understand that. But it couldn't happen at the Catholic Identity Conference, especially when we had given our word to stand with the Cardinal Burkes and all these cardinals right now who need our support. Let's wait till after the Synod to start talking and discussing and debating sedevacantism. See what happens at the Synod, first of all. And in the meantime, I gave my word to Cardinal Muller that we would stand with him and Bishop Schneider and the rest who are absolutely Bishop Strickland. That I would stand with them and that we wouldn't do this to them after they agreed to be at our conference. I hope you understand, and most importantly, please, friends, I hate division. I hate when people are disappointed. I hate when all of a sudden I'm accused of going after my old friend. There was just no other way of handling this in the 5 minutes that I had to decide on what I was going to do with this situation. Okay? So please, if I could ask in conclusion, please pray for unity. Pray that Archbishop Viganò and I can work this out. And please understand, I am not censoring him. I think he's a beautiful and holy and good man, and I'm going to do everything I possibly can to fix this rupture, and I would beg all of you, don't exacerbate it. Let me take care of this. Let Archbishop Viganò take care of this. We will see if we can figure it out. But please stop with making it worse, exploiting it, pushing it all over the place, and at the same time, really harming the good that happened with Bishop Strickland being at this conference and Cardinal Muller and so forth. Let that have a good impact, especially on the Vatican. Let them see this before we start blowing it all apart. Please pray for this intention, and thanks very much for listening.